look at today's starting lineups brought to you by American Express. And for Ignite, without Kuminga, who had started the previous 13 games, they go to a look with Brown and Nix in the backcourt, along with Green, Todd, and Ashley. Rio Grande Valley will counter with the lineup that features the league's best scorer in Kevin Porter Jr. KJ Martin, who was a game-time decision, is now missing his 5th straight game with an ankle injury. One of the league's best scorers and rebounders will be out again today. Ignite in the black, earning the opening possession, while Rio Grande Valley in gray plays defense. Into Brandon Ashley, and he follows it.
I tell you, David, that's what I like to see. You know, you coming out, you see ball movement, you see body movement, you see the ball touching hands, getting everybody kind of engaged and locked into the game early instead of just getting into your one guy and just seeing him go to work. You're seeing everybody really touch the ball, make plays, and see the ball move.
Vincent, set the intention for us, framing it this way, where Ignite needs to win and get some help later today to clinch a spot. Rio Grande Valley, a loss today, and they're out. How do you take those parameters with you into a game?
Well, if I'm the Ignite, if I'm both teams, we talked to Coach earlier, but you want to just get your guys to just play the same style we've been playing. Don't do anything different. Don't go outside of our offense or your abilities or what you're asked to do night in and night out. And from there, as the coach, I want to see motion, bodies, just get guys moving. And then from there, you just see, you play off a field. You see where guys are, and then you play from there. So that's what I mean, I was extremely impressed. Obviously, Brian Shaw is a champion. He's been in the NBA. He understands what's at stake right here for his team.
And there's a look at Mahmoud Abdel Fattah, the second-year head coach for Rio Grande Valley. Some early shot making on both sides as they play this important game on the third to last day of the regular season. The last 3 spots in the playoffs on the line as Jalen Green gets hit shooting a 3.
I tell you, David, he got lucky right there, boy. He had in his mind he was going to catch and shoot the 3 immediately, and he was fortunate enough right there on the left arm. He got hit for the foul, and he gets to shoot 3.
So here we go, our first look at the experimental free throw rule now in its 2nd season, where over the course of the first 46 minutes, only 1 free throw will be shot in all situations. So Jalen Green knocking down that throw worth 3 points.
I tell you, David, I tell you, if you're a guy that is not mentally strong after your first free throw, you do not like this as a one-and-done free throw shooter, because sometimes guys need to just get the first one up there to feel comfortable with the second free throw, but at the same time, it makes guys lock in and focus.
Ignite by 3. Here comes Rio Grande Valley. And a 3 from the corner is off target for Sean Osias.
You see here with the hang dribble, Porter with a handle to the fadeaway. He looks very comfortable with who he is as a player and his game. You see under control, has the ball on the string, gets to his spots, you know, a la another lefty that played in Houston. You know, I don't know if you can say his name these days anymore, but James Harden was a guy who had a great handle and got to his spots with fadeaway jumpers, just like Kevin Porter did there.
You could say his name, you just got to be careful what state you say it in.
That is very true.
Bobby Brown underneath to Brandon Ashley, coming off of one of his best performances of the season yesterday. RGV down by 3, Porter Jr. Harden in the nets last night as part of the ESPN Wednesday doubleheader, returning to H-Town and beating his former mates. Anthony Lamb underneath, can't convert the open layup attempt.
I think he was surprised at how open he was on a great pass to him. And he was like, wait a minute, I'm wide open. Let me shoot it up real quick, and a little too strong.
Green going against Lamb on the step back, pulls the string and misses too long. Josh Reeves lets it rip. That's off target.
I tell you what, Rio Grande is not wasting any time. I mean, if they see a window to get the ball up, they're letting it fly.
Kevin Porter Jr. pushing the pace. And this is Reeves. Short right.
And I think, David, you know, the nerves, that they all know what's at stake. And you want them to play under control. Like I said, play like this is any other game, like, you know, you try as a coach to tell your guys. But deep down, subconsciously, you know what's going on. And sometimes those shots that are wide open, you tend to overthink them. And you tend to shoot them short sometimes, like we're seeing early.
Nick's getting his first start of the season again. No Jonathan Kuminga, out with right knee soreness resulting from an injury yesterday. Ashley's pass somehow makes it to Isaiah Todd, and he makes the best of it with a one-handed jam.
Yes, he did. That was a great pass, great finish.
Dacian Nix open for three. Weak side rebound, Todd. Off the pump fake. Can't convert. Ashley another chance at it. And it'll stay with Ignite.
You see Porter with great vision to Reeves. Pump fake, under control. You know, Porter having his head up for a great pass to the easy assist. You see Ashley here, like you said, how did he get it through there? But Todd gets it, and a great finish, big to big.
Rio Grande Valley second to last in defensive rebounding percentage, so they are susceptible to the offensive rebound, an area of the game in which Brandon Ashley excels.
And you can see it, like you said, he gets positioned under the basket, puts Porter in a situation where he has to reach around or throw him out to not allow him an easy two.
Look away pass inside, thrown away by Green.
So there's one of the things right there you typically see in high school. Guys get a little rushed. I mean, you see it at the pro level as well. But that's one thing he'll learn as he continues to play this game at this pace. Just making that decision and figuring out how to still dribble and make the pass under control.
Trevelin Queen knocks down a three to tie it up at 9. Deep look for Bobby Brown, and he sticks it. Bobby Brown has played with 16 teams in his pro career, all over the world, now with Ignite.
Hey, David, did that make me sound old as I remember when he played in college? Maybe so?
I don't think so.
A little bit. Okay.
I mean, you were just a toddler when he was in college, right?
Yeah, basically. I remember him coming out. Obviously, the name Bobby Brown, especially at my age, in my 40s, when you hear Bobby Brown, you're like, wait a minute, not the Bobby Brown. And so I can imagine what he's gone through throughout his career, having to ask that question. What's it like being Bobby Brown, the basketball player?
Yeah, he's responded to that different times, saying that all those people asking him, where's Whitney, kind of got old.
Oh, man.
Ignite by 3. Timeout on the floor. And 8:15 Eastern. For more on these games, please go to NBAGleague.com or visit the NBA G League app. Single elimination starting on Monday. 3 wins, and you are the 2021 G League champion. Adds a little March Madness flavor to the playoffs for the G League. Typically in years past, it would be single elimination up to the finals where it would be best of 3. But this year in the bubble, going with a more direct format. And
I think what you tend to understand. Go ahead.
Yeah, after you, Vince.
No, I think you understand why they're doing that. They've been in a bubble for a long time, and I know a lot of these guys have been prepping for that. We heard Brian Shaw talk about that a couple of days ago, about how they've been in the bubble, just been isolated for a very long time. So I guess at this point, you want guys you want your season to finish and give some of these young guys an opportunity to get called up. Ignite has someone like a Bobby Brown, like a Jared Jack, giving them a chance to possibly finish the season and get called up. So you understand why it's a single elimination.
Yeah, single elimination for the 8 playoff teams next week. But for Rio Grande Valley, they're already in playoff mode. A loss today, and they're out of the playoff hunt. The other way for Armani Brooks leaking out. Vipers to within 1.
That's a familiar name to me, Armani Brooks. He was in our training camp in Atlanta. So I got an opportunity to kind of get to know him, to learn what kind of guy he is, to see he's an unbelievable shooter. And you see here, he leaks out for easy two. I mean, he's a natural scorer, but one thing I really enjoyed about Armani is that he listens, he asks questions, and he's very tentative, not attentive, and he wants to be a good player. Then you see this athlete right here. This young man has the ability. You will see him playing consistent minutes in the NBA very soon.
On assignment with the Houston Rockets, Jared Jack wanted a lobber to the rim.
There's the old veteran. You see right there Kevin Porter Jr. with super hops, very athletic, and once he gets a step on you, you can tell his mentality is to the upper room, is what I used to call it. But for you guys who don't really dunk, let's go up there and dunk it. My bad, David.
I mean, the hoop was 6 feet. I mean, I'd understand how to get my elbow above the rim, too. Jalen Green on the baseline.
I mean, for a young guy, he's just a natural scorer. He has all of the moves, the pump fakes, great patience I see for a young guy. And like I said, he has the potential. You see why he's a top 5 potential pick.
Anthony Lamb knocking it down out of the corner. Vipers up by a deuce. 3 lead changes in this opening quarter as Green uses the screen.
Hey, I see another veteran out there donning the number 15 in Amir Johnson, who I've gotten to know very well over the time. These guys, man, they make me feel old. I mean, I remember when Amir came in as a rookie.
Jalen Green goes behind the back, and he'll get a call. It appears that it is against Jalen Green for a travel. There's a look at Amir Johnson, part of that last draft where high schoolers were able to go directly to the NBA, and so he provides a lot of interesting perspective to those draft-eligible prospects on Ignite. Absolutely.
I got to know him through, I was traded out of Toronto, and he wore the number 15 jersey, and we had a conversation. He's like, man, I didn't know. It was a lot of animosity at the time, and I was like, man, wear it well. And he's done that, and he did great things for the Raptors in his time there.
It's a big jersey to fill right there. Didn't make it any easier on him.
I think he did pretty good.
Brooks open for 3. That's his calling card. Wooten wanted to follow a super athletic, springy center. Porter Jr. baseline look, and that is thrown down. Wooten getting his opportunity on the reset.
Yes, I mean, there again, Porter's showing that he has everything. Yes, he has the ability to score whatever he wants to, but he shows that he has great court vision, and he's getting his guys easy looks where they don't have to work hard. You just catch and go dunk it. And that's what you want from a guy like that who has some NBA experience to come in there and dominate.
NBA level, but while he's been down in the G League, he has been the league's best scorer along with one of the best facilitators, playing nearly the most minutes in the league. And I'm curious for your perspective, Vince, as you see Kevin Porter Jr. play in this afternoon's contest, how you see his abilities translating to the NBA level.
Well, first of all, he understands what it takes because he's played 50 games, and I think now he gets to hone in and fine-tune on those skills in this game. And they have him running the point guard. So you talk about a gifted scorer, but now he's showing all facets. Now he can facilitate. He can run the squad. Maybe when he gets to back into the NBA, he might not be the point guard, but there's another guy who you'll now have as a ball handler with the ability to naturally score. So right now, I mean, he's playing. You can just see the confidence. You can see his swagger, how he moves on the court, and that's key.
He's somebody who typically plays the entire first quarter. He's out there with 4 reserves as Armani Brooks misses from deep.
And at the end of the day, you want your ball handler. Go ahead, buddy. At the end of the day, you want your ball handler to create easy baskets for your guys, and that's what he's done.
Offensive rebound for Rio Grande Valley. 4th best in the league by percentage in that category as Trey Mitchell gets all the way in for the Vipers.
Tough take, tough finish, using the inside elbow arm for protection to get the easy layup. You see here going downhill, uses that inside elbow, maybe a push off, I don't know, but he did a great job of, he was going away from the basket, but he uses the rim and kisses it off the glass, nice and easy for a finish.
You played your final of 22 seasons in the NBA at 43 years old, so I imagine that you can relate to a 37-year-old Jared Jack still playing and trying to get back to where you were a season ago.
Absolutely, and for Jerry Jack, he might not be as quick as these young men he's playing against, but he has the advantage of knowing what it takes to be successful in the NBA, or just to be successful in the basketball game as well. I mean, you see he's using the pump fakes, jab steps, just getting guys out of position to draw fouls and stuff, and that's the advantage he will have, being that he doesn't have the quickness of some of these guys. But I tell you what, the knowledge that not only he has for himself, that he's going to bring to each and every one of these guys on his team is paramount. You know, we watched after the first break. I saw him immediately go to the bigs, and he's giving direction, and that's major for a coach.
Jack missing the free throw worth 2 after the delay. He gets his own miss and lays it up and in. So he got his 2 off the offensive rebound.
Right. And he shows he clearly he can still score and put the ball in the basket at the tender age.
His old college coach, Paul Hewitt, a drive to the basket, and Dewan Hernandez throws it down. Who's the head coach of Agua Caliente, and the Clippers and Ignite played yesterday. He commented that he thought Jack looked in some of the best shape that he's seen in recent years, and his quickness and athleticism was showing.
Big time dunk right there. Yeah, I mean, Jerry Jack looks, he looks like he's in great shape. He looks young. And that's what it's all about, just taking care of your body. When you get older, you start hitting the mid-30s, man. You know, you have to pay a little more attention to your body and more on your fitness, and not just the days that the team are lifting weights or doing cardio or whatever it takes. For him and for Amir Johnson and for the guys who are in their 30s, you have to do a little more if you're trying to dedicate yourself and continue to play this game. And he's showing, or at least he looks like he's doing that.
Next is now. The players to watch are already making moves. Follow the latest NBA prospects with the NBA G League app. Download it for free from the App Store. Jack makes good on that free throw.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good off the glass. I know he didn't call it.
They attempt the most three-pointers per game in the league, 4 clear of the second team, but that's a layup at the rim and a foul. Armani Brooks trying to round out his offensive game, but his head coach, Mahmoud Abdel Fattah, and that thought in a moment is, you sure there was no call there on that, Vince?
There, that tells it right there. He has the, I'm not going to say the MJ, hey, whatever, but he didn't call it.
Yeah, and MJ wasn't banking in any threes in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he was not. But I wanted to say one thing about Amani Brooks. When you look at his game, he reminds you of a Lou Williams. I mean, and I say reminds you. He kind of plays like Lou Williams, is a gifted scorer, extremely quick first step to can hit a shot anywhere. So, when you watch him, that's something that reminds me of.
Rio Grande Valley needing a win today in order. Spurs also available on the ESPN app. Getting ready to start the second quarter with the 8-time All-Star Vince Carter. David Resnick with you, and Ignite hoping that they'll be in action next week as well. If they win today and a Westchester loss later today, the Knicks are scheduled to face Agua Caliente at 7:30. They are in the playoffs. Currently 3 spots still up for grabs. 5 teams still alive, including Ignite and the Vipers vying for those remaining spots.
Well, David, like we talked about at the top of the show briefly, we're saying both of these teams are fighting for that 8th spot, and who will be able to come together and figure it out and get themselves a win. And the first quarter is extremely important. Who hits first? And you see the Vipers come out first, playing the best basketball, obviously led by Porter, who's playing great basketball. But so far, so good. I mean, it's the Vipers are trying to survive, and they're doing so.
Armani Brooks sticks the 3.
Man. That's what he does. That's what he does. I mean, you see he was in rhythm, and you see the little things, and that I recognize is he makes the pass, and as the ball is coming to him, he fades away, puts his defender in a tough position, which allows him to get an open 3.
Reggie Hearn answers back with his own 3. He was in the starting lineup yesterday, relegated back to the bench, his normal role. Principal Singh with the rebound. Expect him to get some more minutes without Dante Hall, who earned a call-up to Toronto. Jesse Govan, who's hurt, along with Jonathan Kuminga, who's also injured with right knee soreness after yesterday's injury. And so Ignite playing without 3 bigs that they're used to having from the beginning of the year. And Singh getting important minutes in a scenario where if the Vipers lose, they're out. And so the Vipers can clinch today with a win and an Oklahoma City win. The Blue playing later tonight against Erie. And Ignite with a win this afternoon and a Westchester loss, they're in. So some work to be done this afternoon and some waiting around tonight.
You're exactly right, David. And I think the one thing that you mentioned earlier is you have to do your job. The teams, both of these teams have to do their job. If you have to win first, and then you worry about everything else, because if you don't win, none of the other things that are going on matters. And both of these teams are in situations where they need to get the job done. So it'll be interesting to see. Like, first half is the first half. The second half is when all the marbles are on the line, and then you see what teams can prevail and overcome the stresses of becoming or getting a playoff berth.
And Rio Grande Valley, there's a clinching scenario, but also an elimination scenario. If they lose today, they're out. Great second effort, another offensive rebound, and Lamb draws the foul. Side out here for RGV. Winners of 4 straight. They're tied with Lakeland for the 3rd best winning streak currently. Raptors 905. They've won 6 in a row, and Santa Cruz 9 straight. Anthony Lamb from the outside. He's been terrific since the midseason trade from Canton.
I tell you what, the Vipers are not hesitating. They're catching and shooting the ball. They're ready. You see their hands are ready. They're putting the pass on time, on target for these guys just to let it fly. So hats off to their coach, just having these guys ready to play.
Queen, but offensive foul called against Lamb. Vince, if you played on a team that averaged 44 three-point attempts per game, how many points would you have scored in your prime?
Oh man, I don't. Where do I begin? Like, this is, I'm not gonna say my mentality would change, but you best believe sometimes, when you do the pump fake and pull up for the mid-range jumper, it's pull up for three for sure. Like, it was. I'm not gonna say it was forbidden, but the game was totally different many years ago, and I use the word many, not just many years ago, because I played so long ago, and some of these guys were just being born when I entered the league, but the mentality of the NBA game now and the way it's played is totally different, and you're seeing a lot of big guys step in at 7 feet and shoot the three, as well as some of the guards in the NBA or around the world now.
Jalen Green makes the free throw. He's just 19 years old, so born after your NBA debut.
Absolutely.
In case you were curious.
Hey, and he's younger than my NBA career.
To the line is Sean Osias. One of those glue guys for RGV in his second year out of Northeastern.
And the one thing you're seeing, the Vipers, they're switching up their coverages. You see the zone, you see man, just trying to keep the team Ignite off of their game a little bit. But they're doing a great job of recognizing when they're in a zone and hitting the guy in the middle. That's the most important. If you can find that the ball can make it into the center or the middle of a zone, you're going to get anything you want. And they're getting easy dunks from it. But I will say they got to stop somebody on the other end as well. Because right now the Vipers are shooting the ball at a very high clip, and they're not bashful.
Brandon Ashley driving in.
Yeah, you see the ball making it to the center or the teeth of the defense, high-low to Ashley for an easy dunk. And Vipers on the other end, not hesitating. They're just letting it fly from three because that's what they do. And that's one thing that is encouraging. If you're the coach of this team, when they're not going off script, they're playing and doing what they normally do, and that's shoot the ball.
RGV by 10. They need it to stay alive in the playoff chase. Brandon Ashley turning around inside of the free throw line, and he knocks it in.
It's tough. I mean, in 8 minutes, he's 3 for 6 for 6 points and 4 rebounds. So he's definitely putting his mark on this game early.
Bobby Brown back out there. This is Ashley kicking out back to Brown. Drives around Osias, and that scoop shot rattles down.
As a little man, and you're driving in there, that's what they work on. If I shoot that shot, there's no chance that I would make that shot. But it's just, I admire like the Mike Conleys of the world who can get into the paint like that, like Bobby Brown did, and just shoot the floater, the running floater, which is a very tough shot to make.
Tightening up a little bit in this second quarter as we've reached a man still need help tonight to clinch on this Thursday.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what basketball is about. Just the competition and coming together as a team, trying to figure out how to get. Everybody wants to be in the playoffs and play in the playoffs, and when you get situations like this where you have to execute, you have to play together as a unit, and you say, oh yeah, just stick to the script. And it's one thing talking about it, and it's another thing actually going out there and executing and doing it. And right now, Rio Grande is executing, and they're sticking to their script.
It was funny when we were speaking with Mahmoud Abdel Fattah earlier today. You asked him a question like, what are you going to do if you notice that your team is not responding in the way that you were hoping? And he said, I got a couple of jokes in my back pocket ready to go. I don't think he's used them yet.
I would love to know. Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, I would love to know what the jokes were. and if he's used them yet. Right now, he probably did not do it, or maybe he did just to kind of break the ice so these guys can come out and play like they're playing right now.
Kevin Porter Jr. back out there, shooting 3 of 8 from the field, 7 points. One of 9 different players so far that has scored for RGV. Bobby Brown getting all the way in. Ashley on the offensive glass gets another follow.
I mean, just watching some tape with him, he is super active, high energy, and that's more than what you can ask for a young guy coming into the league or for a guy in general. If you're going to play in the NBA and get called up, that's what they want from you. They want your motor. They want high energy. You play hard, regardless of the ability that you bring. They want your effort to be there, and he has that.
Isaiah Todd, nicely done with the left hand. Yeah, what would you tell a player, Vince, who's an NBA free agent playing in the G League in terms of what they would need to do to find a spot at the next level?
Well, obviously your motor and your effort, because if you show minimal effort at this level, how can you expect to get called up and play at the level they want you to, one? And for two, you kind of have to humble yourself, because when you're playing in the G League, you may be the go-to guy on the floor in the G League, but it's a little different. It may be a little different ask of you, the player, when you get up there. So you have to understand your role and your importance to a team when you're called up. So, I asked Coach Shaw about that a couple of days ago. Just, how do you have those conversations with these guys? Because, there's a lot of guys like a Jalen Green. Well, he may be an exception, and Kevin Porter as well. But there's a lot of guys in this league who can score. But, the reality is when you get to the NBA, you're going to a team that already has scores. So what can you bring to the table to stay on this team? And that's your energy and your effort. And also the knockdown shots when you're open.
Bobby Brown has played 6 seasons in the NBA over the 5 different teams. Last with the Houston Rockets in the 17-18 season. His basketball journey is taking him all over the world. And this season started for him in Walnut Creek, working out with Team Ignite. Kevin Porter Jr. got it.
I mean, the jab to the three, we've seen that before by a lefty. I mean, he has nothing but confidence. I mean, he's very confident in his game and his ability to score on all levels, or at all levels of it looks like it's out of bounds on Ignite. But he has the ability to score at all levels. So you're just seeing a comfortable player that's playing under control. He knows he has all the eyes on him because of his, the minutes he plays and his points per game average. But you can just see he's just so under control, and he can get to any spot that he wants to. He can get any shot that he wants, and he can create for his other guys. I mean, that's an elite player right there.
Anthony Lamb stepping out and knocking down his third three-pointer. Former 2-time American East Player of the Year, playing for Mid-Major Vermont. Jalen Green off the dribble.
44 threes a game?
44 a game,
You said 44 threes a game? Yeah, I see it.
Mahmoud Abdel Fattah wants to be at 60 per game. Their high was 51.
Imagine that conversation either at halftime or at the end of the game when you say, guys, 44 threes, come on, what are we doing here? 60 is a lot. That's a big number.
The NBA G League playoffs start Monday on ESPN2 and ESPN News. They'll use an 8-team single elimination format with a championship game on Thursday. Also available on the ESPN app. Regular season ends on Saturday. Everybody will be off on Sunday. And then a quadruple header on Monday. And just like that, we'll be down to 4 final teams.
Wow. Comes at you fast.
And we were just a little bit over 3 weeks into the season. Ignite and Santa Cruz tipped off the season on February 10th. And with the champion crowned on March 11th, it'll be just over a month of play to get the 2021 season in. 3 minutes to go, first half, as head coach Brian Shaw watches his young point guard get all the way to the cup.
Hey, David, I'm sitting here watching or looking at Coach Brian Shaw and just thinking, obviously I played against him. And I'm wondering, when he first got the job, did he, and probably not, especially adding the triangle. We'll talk about it when we come back. Also a shout out to the young guys, the young kids who have aspiration of dunking. You just gotta. No, I mean they deserve it. Like you're laughing. I'm serious because
I needed this inspiration 2 decades ago.
Exactly. This has encouraged you to go out there. It's like, you know what? I hear this guy who used to dunk a basketball encouraging me to keep working at it, and that's what I'm trying to do here.
Have you ever judged the dunk contest? Is that on the docket in retirement for you?
I've judged a few. I got the opportunity to judge the dunk contest with Kobe, Dr. J, Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins. That was a group in Vegas, and it doesn't get any better than that. And that was the last one I did. I mean, I was like, anything else is a fall off. I mean, you look down the line of judges, and it's like Kobe, MJ, Dr. J, Dominique, some of the best that's ever done it. And to sit there with that group, it was just fantastic. And I have that picture on my wall of all of us from that night. So it's a pretty cool. And they all signed it, so it's a pretty cool night.
Two minutes to go, first half. Jalen Green. And it's rebounded by Anthony Lamb. Another three for RGV. Brooks just 2 of 6 from beyond the arc, but he's somebody that's piqued the interest of NBA teams for his ability to space the floor prior to a recent slump, shooting around 40% from beyond the arc, that mark that really catches the attention of NBA teams.
Especially when you shoot that many threes in a game. I mean, you're still able to shoot at a 40 clip is impressive, because I mean, I think when you look at it, because like I said, they shoot so many, that means that your percentage tends to go down with that many 3 attempts a game. But man, all things considered, add another dunk to that package.
We are always guaranteed a big dunk after we've already identified a dunk of the game.
Well, and to add to it, I think my encouraging speech just then really helped, put a shining moment here. Oh my.
Trevelyan Queen in pain off the make.
Looks like a knee, but it's an unbelievable finish.
The foul given by William McDowell White to stop play as Queen just gets further away from the floor as he gets checked out.
We hope he's okay.
Josh Reeves in for the Vipers. Jalen Green, she's 1 for 2.
It looked like he stepped on Amir's foot as he was trying to pivot for the reverse layup.
Impressive story for Queen, somebody who played 2 years at JUCO before 2 seasons of Division I at New Mexico, and becoming a draft prospect, even though he was not selected this past year. Tapped out to Johnson, final half minute of play in the first half. Cody Demps got hit on the arm. He'll shoot a free throw worth 3.
Foul on number 34.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go. Block. Let's go.
That's his third.
Stop coming.
Jared Jack returns for Ignite. Tim shoots. 1 for 3.
And so Demps missing the free throw there. That would have been worth 3. Could have given Ignite some momentum to the locker room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The free throw, that first free throw is always the most important one. So when you're only shooting one, boy, you have to focus and lock in.
Kevin Porter Jr. launching away. Lamb battling for the board with Nix, who throws it away, and Lamb scores it right in front of the halftime buzzer. So a 5-point swing as Demps missing a layup on one end and Lamb getting a second opportunity on the other. 5 teams still left battling for 3 spots.
And that's what basketball is about.
A win to stay alive. Both these teams, even with the win this afternoon, still need help tonight to clinch on this Thursday.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what basketball is about. Just, you know, the competition and coming together as a team, trying a way to go be an athlete. He's showing that he has it all. He can do it all. And like I said earlier, yes, he's the leading scorer, but you can see the swag in his game. And he's playing the point guard. And not only is he scoring a lot, but he's making plays for his team, which has given his team a 14-point lead right now.
RGV needs a win today to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Even with an Ignite win, they would still need some help later tonight to clinch a berth. A win for RGV and some help later tonight from Oklahoma City. If the Blue were to win, by the end of the day, the Vipers would be playoff bound. Another 3 attempted by the Vipers as Ignite returns to its starting 5 of Green, Todd, Ashley, Nixon, Brown.
So Coach said they need 60-something threes per game, and they're at, you said 25, so he can't be happy with their 3-point attempt performance right now.
They are ahead of their season pace. He wants the 60. They've gotten 51 in a game.
That's crazy.
Kevin Porter Jr.
I tell you what, if he continue to hit shots, or if they continue to hit shots like that, it's possible. You know, every time you come down, why go past the 3-point line if you're hitting them like you are?
Like, Vince, when you're watching this game and knowing that the G League is a step below the NBA, like when you see Porter Jr. out there, do you just say in your mind, like, I've seen NBA guards for the last 2+ decades, and that guy can play at the next level?
Absolutely. I mean, you see he has the potential. And there again, like we said earlier, he's played 50 games in the NBA, so he understands. That's a heck of a pass, by the way. But he understands what it takes and how the game should be played. And he's playing at that level. So it kind of looks like, yeah, he's just floating, not really going at it. But he knows he's at a different pace. And some of these young guys who didn't get drafted, who has hopes and dreams to play in the NBA, are trying to figure out and get to the comfort level that he's playing at right now. I mean, you could just see it. Just he looks cool, calm, collected, and under control.
Former first-round draft pick 2 years ago, Mahmoud Abdel Fattah, the head coach for Rio Grande Valley, saying it's been so great to get our best effort every game from our best player. He knows he's going to be double-teamed. He knows he's the focus of the opponent's scouting report, and yet he has consistently delivered on and off the floor as Jalen Green lays it in.
And to add to that, he's not overdoing it. He's not rushing shots. He's not forcing shots. But he has that ability to get his own shot that's in rhythm within the flow of the offense. And when he doesn't have it, he is making the right play for somebody else. You see Jalen Green here being an athlete, great drive, slicing in between two guys to make an easy layup.
Good to see Trevelyan Queen back out there. He limped off the floor at the end of the second quarter. He stepped on the foot of Amir Johnson, and he makes a free throw worth 2. Does Green look like a 19-year-old to you? I mean, does he kind of jump out when you watch this game?
No, I mean, the way he's playing, he looks very comfortable out there. You know, obviously, you get a couple of games on your belt, you start to figure out how the game is played. But no, he does not. None of these kids look like 18, 19-year-olds anymore, man. So I look at how I was built, and look at how these guys are built. I mean, Jalen is 178 pounds. Okay, fine, but he does not look like 18, 19-year-old. I mean, just the way these guys. And the technology and what's available for these guys now, the strength and conditioning at this level is great for him. So he gets to build his body for the punishments that you can take in the NBA.
Porter went behind the back.
He's showing off.
And then Reeves got all the way in.
That's what he's telling the coach. That's what he's telling coach. You see, I got that in the bag as well.
If you're Steven Silas, you're in the middle of an all-star break, and you're watching your young guard. He's under NBA contract. Kevin Porter Jr. at the end of this G League season, whether it's on Saturday for RGV or next Thursday following a championship game appearance, he's back on your squad this time next week.
Right. And the good thing about it, he has a world of confidence because he's playing the point guard position. He has the ball in his hand every possession, and he's not overdoing it. It's not a situation where you're like, all right, let's get the ball out of his hands because he's doing this, that, and forth. He is making plays for himself and the rest of his team. And as you see there, guys are just responding and knocking down threes at a high clip. And right now, they're in
his first game because of right knee soreness. An injury that he sustained late in yesterday's loss against Agua Caliente. And we learned during halftime, Vince Carter, that Kuminga is a big fan of what appeared to be pink starbursts.
Yes, he was. I think he took every possible pink starburst that was available. So, hey, he needs the energy. I mean, when you're sitting there, you got to pass the time somehow. I mean, missing 17 points and 7 rebounds. It's a big miss, and you're seeing it today.
And in fairness to Kuminga, he has been standing on the side. You see him on the Ignite bench towards the left in the white and tie-dye sweatshirt, being an active teammate and cheering on his team.
Well, the Starburst gave him the energy he needed.
Highly recommended in the middle of the game, although, of course, he's not playing. That gets you going for the second half.
Yeah.
Do you ever have a halftime pick-me-up or a pregame food that you needed to eat?
Well, it changed throughout the course of the years. I mean, sometimes an orange. I wouldn't say Starburst. Sometimes Starburst. It just depends. Every now and then, more so like I was a Gatorade guy. That's not a plug either.
That's very on brand for this league.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's not a plug. It's just I was a Gatorade guy. So, I mean, as long as I had just a little bit of that, it kept me going. I didn't, once I get locked into what I'm doing, I tend not to think about, even think about it unless I didn't eat before the game. Then I'm trying to find whatever is available. There's
been some secret to playing 22 years in the league. And look at this. He's dishing out. He's being selective. He's pushing the ones that he doesn't want to side.
Yeah, what is this? Put this in the pocket for later, and I'm going to kill the pink right now.
Got a post-game snack already secured.
I love it.
It's like you have to remind yourself that we're dealing with teenagers here. Reggie Hurd is third triple.
You couldn't see me do it. Not that many of them if you still wanted me to play the game.
Coach Smith would have been okay with a halftime snack when you were 19?
No. Oh, no, sir. No, sir. just the thought of that, like, this gave me cringe, like, made me cringe, like, man, please, we'd have to run.
20-point lead here for RGV. They led by 14 at the break. They extended it at one point to 23. RGV in a win or go home scenario, a loss this afternoon, and they're out of the playoff hunt. Ignite is still alive even with a loss today, but there was a clinching scenario for them with a win. Josh Reeves, corner pocket, splashing down another triple for the Vipers.
And I tell you what, when you use the terminology, live by the three, die by the three, when it works, I mean, it looks great. I mean, they're shooting 42% right now in this game, 14 for 33-ish. So, I mean, goodness, they're getting it done, and they were prepared. Coach talked about how, they're going to prepare as normal and as usual and just come out and do what they do, and they're doing what they do, and that's shoot the three.
Reeves makes back-to-back. And while we applaud their offense as Jalen Green is heading to the free throw line, Mahmoud Abdel Fattah was saying that, in fact, it's their defense that has really turned their season around. They were at 3-6, and now 4 wins later, they're on the verge of clinching a playoff spot.
I mean, they're giving themselves all the chance in the world, but like we talked about earlier, is doing what you can control, and that's win the game first, and then everything else you hope will fall into place.
Green, an 80% free throw shooter on the season, missing there. Or making, excuse me. Perfect 4 of 4 from the line today.
Hey, David, I will say this. For Porter, that was the first poor decision I've seen him make in this game. Everything else has been on point as far as, just making plays or making the right play for his teammates. And that's something he just has to, not get comfortable, continue to hone in and lock in on, is continue to make the right play and the easy play.
Look away pass, Jack to Johnson. And it sounds like you're evaluating Porter Jr. in a way this afternoon different than what his nearly 5 assists per game would indicate to you about his floor play.
Correct. I mean, because I know, like I said, you think for him, who's already established, once this season's over, like you say, they're looking at what he can bring to the Rockets once he's there, and he's going to have to take care of the ball. And he's showing he can make the right play, but you just want him to consistently make the right play and not get comfortable because he's having some success and they're up a big number.
.24 game, 4:25 to go in the third. Kevin Porter Jr., end of shot clock. Mismatch against Johnson. Off the dribble, splash.
I mean, what can you say? I mean, it's easy. He knew what he wanted to do. He set Amir Johnson up to get to where he wanted to go for the easy step back jump shot that he's been hitting all game.
21 points for Porter. Brown on the other end. And a whistle on the take. The G League Ignite will finish off their regular season schedule Saturday at 7 Eastern on ESPN+. They'll square off against the Austin Spurs, also available on the ESPN app. Excited to call that one with Andre Ingram, the all-time leader in games played in the G League on ESPN+. And that could be a scenario where we'll see, but maybe a win for Ignite and they're in. If they lose, they're out. Lots to be determined in the next couple of days.
I'll tell you what, David, you look at how they're losing and how they're getting beat down. You hope they can stay focused and bounce back after, there's still time, but the way this game is going, and they're just defensively can't stop the ball, and they have to guard the three-point line. And right now, the Vipers are able to get whatever they want, whenever they want it.
Started the season 4-0. They've only been 3-6 since that, including losses in their last 2. Brooks off the dribble, bags it.
Man.
Armani Brooks, his 4th three-pointer today. As a team, RGV has knocked down 17 triples. Reggie Hearn trying to keep Ignite in it. It's been tough for Ignite. No Jonathan Kuminga today. The call up to Dante Hall as Dewan Hernandez spins and stuffs it down. The injury to Jesse Govan, and so a team that wants to pound it inside, use their advantage on the interior. They've had to change up the way they play, and that's a careless pass leading to a slam. Trevelin Quing.
I guess there's no injury there. There's no injury. Because that was too easy.
For more Black History Always storytelling like this, visit theundefeated.com. I got the chance to know Renee at last year's G League Showcase. That poor soul put up with me for 8 games working together. And just such an incredible person, and you find that out right away. And the momentum that she gained and the sacrifices she made over the past year to now see her in ownership of the team she just played for, so incredible.
I mean, she has great energy, and once you start talking to her, I mean, her energy is just contagious, and she's fun to be around. And she was a part of my podcast. She was on my podcast, and we featured her, and it was just a great story to learn about her. And is it a sacrifice? I don't know, but what she was sacrificing, what people considered a sacrifice, to everyone else, is something that she felt she needed and wanted to do, and she was making great strides. And now, like I said, she's living the player's dream, in my opinion. Like you're now a part of an ownership group that of a team that you played on, and that's spectacular. I mean, it couldn't happen to a nicer person. We worked together with the Hawks, so you see her knowledge, you hear her knowledge, and what she can do for these ladies is unbelievable. And I should add what she could do for the community, what she's already done, and now to have her in ownership and doing that is just that's a great move by the Atlanta Dream.
And you guys are neighbors now, right?
Yeah, yep. We are neighbors. So I'll see a lot of her. I'll just say, what up, boss?
Just in case you were looking for another job post playing days, maybe the Dream has an opening.
I'm reaching out.
Deflected, and it'll stay with RGV.
So here's the situation, David, with RGV. They're in they have a commanding lead in a situation where you just don't want to get sloppy, because, like I said, they're playing for a lot, and if things work out in your way and you're able to get into the postseason, you don't want, regardless of the way you're playing, you don't want your last quarter of basketball going into the playoffs to be sloppy. They want to stay sharp, and if they're going to shoot the three, shoot the three. They have done a great job of not really turning the ball over and throwing it all around the court. And you're starting to see a little bit of letting the rope go and just playing outside of their character right now. So that's the one thing I'm sure coach is a little concerned, would be a little concerned about.
Yeah, this is game 14 of 15 for them. Tomorrow they'll have a matchup with Santa Cruz, the owners of a 9-game winning streak. And if this result holds, RGV will be heading into tomorrow's matchup, winners of 5 straight.
Absolutely. So you want to play your best basketball, as you know, leading into the postseason, and winning 5 in a row, peaking at the right time is what it's all about.
Amir Johnson got hacked.
First in the last 2 minutes.
Johnson going to the line, one free throw worth 2.
William McDowell White and Kevin Porter Jr. return for the Vikings.
One shot.
Amir Johnson shoots 1 for 2.
Johnson, a 14-year NBA vet. Played for 4 different teams. Mopping up some sweat in the middle of the lane before Johnson shoots his free throw, and has been such an anchor for the forwards of this Ignite team, typically joined with Isaiah Todd off the bench. And I'm sure you've heard it, Vince, throughout the game, the way that Johnson and Jack in particular communicate. You can hear all those cues, especially on the defensive end. They are directing this Ignite team throughout the game.
And that's what it's all about, is having veterans on your squad. And I'm not just speaking because I was a veteran in the NBA for a very long time, but having veterans on your squad is paramount for these young guys who are coming out of high school or undrafted and learning how to play the game the right way.
RGV building upon to NBAGleague.com or visit the NBA G League app. After today, just 2 more days left of the regular season. With Vince Carter, played 22 years in the NBA, 8-time All-Star. I'm David Resnick. Rio Grande Valley and Ignite battling as Brandon Ashley sticks with it.
I tell you what, for the Ignite to get back in this game, first of all, defensively, they're going to have to make strides and force the Vipers to take 2-point shots. You know, that's what you want, and you hope for them to turn the ball over, force turnovers, and make them take make twos, or take twos. And then on the other end, you're just going to have to make shots. Obviously, you're going to have to make a few threes, but you're going to have to play at a faster pace to get back into this game. If you want to have a chance to even get back into the game, to hopefully win in the last 2 minutes.
Dacian Nix. That's a long 2. Might be a tall order for this Ignite team, as they are not efficient at the 3, nor do they take a lot in the bottom quarter in terms of makes and percentage. So they're going to have to play out of their comfort zone to get back into it. Isaiah Todd fouled. He'll head to the line. On the floor there with Ashley Nix, Jackson Demp.
You see Nix there, like we were saying, I was going to say right on cue, but they gave him a 2-point shot instead of a 3. But that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to just play up-tempo basketball. And if you don't take a lot of threes, well, your bigs need to run the floor to get to the front of the rim, and they need to get to the free throw line as much as possible. And you want to score at the free throw line with the clock stop, because if not, you know, it's already out of hand, but you never give yourself a chance to get back in the game.
Ignite has already gone to the line 12 times, and remember that a number of those attempts worth more than 1 point, as Todd claims the rebound for Ignite.
I mean, that's what you want. One shot, rebound, and get off in transition, and you know, you're just going to have to make a few of those. I mean, like you said, they're going to have to play a little out of their comfort zone if they want to get back in this game.
What do you say to each other in that huddle between the third and the fourth quarter when you look up and see you're down 28?
Well, as a young guy, you probably don't know what to say outside of come on. But you have veterans and you have your coach, and you just say you say it sounds cliche, but you like one possession at a time, and it's the truth. Like you can't force it, but defensively, you just have to pick it up. I think instead of playing back, I like to see them get up, start trapping. You want to make the Vipers throw the ball around the court. You know, teams typically pick up their pressure like that the last 2-3 minutes. You know, it's kind of like that 2-minute drill in football, and then you see guys move up and down the court or the field or the court, and you're like, why did you do it earlier? When you're down like this, I like to see them coming out into the fourth, trapping the ball, picking up full court. I mean, that's what you want to do, and just see where it goes from there.
Nice finger
but it's
roll
too easy.
layup.
Yeah, it's just too easy. They're playing they're playing comfortable. They're getting what they want. That the Vipers that is, and they're playing like they're up, and they're not. They meaning the Ignite. They're playing like they're up, and they're not. So you have to dictate the pace and try to force the Vipers to kind of play faster than they want to.
Free throw here for Brandon Ashley. One worth two. This was part of your method for getting back into it. Putting points on the board with the clock frozen. 9:30 remaining in regulation. There were 3 lead changes in the first quarter. Otherwise, it's been all RGV. Essentially wire to wire for the Vipers as Porter turns it over.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you want. You just hope, they get sloppy, and now you go down and execute and score. I personally think Ignite needs to play a little faster, even if you're a team that doesn't take a lot of threes. Well, you need to play faster to get into your offense to save some time. That time tends to creep up on you a little later on into the fourth quarter. So I think they should play faster, in my opinion.
Situation certainly calls for it. But something in this league, no lead is safe. Even a 20-point margin with 9 to go. One free throw worth
David,
2 for Kevin Porter Jr.
Right, but no lead is safe if you're a team like the Viper that shoots
for sure
39 threes right now.
I mean, it is the brightest and biggest green light that the Vipers have from the perimeter.
Yeah. And it doesn't help the team Ignite when your best player is 4 for 13 for 7. I mean, he has 17 points, and you see that. But he's having a quiet night, and they need him to be elite and spectacular to give him a chance.
Stay with RGV.
I tell you, Ashley plays with a lot of energy and effort, boy. I mean, he's playing regardless of the lead. His energy and his effort level is still the same, and you like that if you're a team looking to potentially bring him on or someone like that. That's what you want. Regardless of the score, you bring that energy.
Isaiah Todd, corner. That lipped out. Surging to the rim, and Brooks is continuing his impressive output. Off of Brown, the good hustle to slap it forward to Brooks. Why not? Armani Brooks, another triple. It's a season high 26 points. RGV.
Every level he can get to, and he can score with ease, whether it's getting to the basket for the layup or the dunk, the mid-range or the three. And he's just making the game easy for everyone involved. Everybody's on the court, and you can tell everybody's ready. Hands are ready. They're getting to the three-point line. Here, they're running the floor for the pass because they know he's going to make the right play, and guys are getting easy dunks. I've already graded McQueen with the A+. I wanted to see the windmill again, but that's okay. That's okay.
He's got to save something for next game.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Well, what do you think it's going to take for Kevin Porter Jr. for you to be speaking about him on the jump in the second half of the season?
I think continue to grow. And I think his confidence will grow if they're able to make it into the playoffs, and he continues to play better, play well, and play like he's playing. For him, I think he just has to continue to be consistent. You know, it's one thing, like I said, he is dominating, and I think having 50 games of NBA experience really helps, and you can see the growth, and he's seen a lot, so he's not rattled at the pace of play or how the game is played. I think for him, it's just continue to get better and use this for a stepping stone to that next level, you know, working on it. And it's tough. I mean, you're talking about telling these guys who are 19, who's 20 years old, to play this game as if it's an NBA game, and how would you prepare that? But that's the growth for him. That's the next step, because he's shown he can do whatever he wants in this league.
He has it, watched by Jalen Green. This Rio Grande Valley impressive performance comes without KJ Martin, out for the 5th straight game with an ankle injury. Cody Demps going to the line. So Martin was a game-time decision, and that was an elevated distinction for Martin, who's close to returning maybe tomorrow against Santa Cruz, perhaps the playoffs, but Martin's return trending in the right direction, and yet the Vipers are still ahead with ease, which is a great sign for them as they are trending in the right direction.
Right.
A win today would be 5 in a row. Still work to do to clinch a playoff spot, but a win today and Oklahoma City win this evening would get the Vipers into the top 8 and clinch a berth in next week's single elimination tournament.
Yeah, and then to add 19 points to your roster if KJ is able to get to play. I tell you what, I mean, they got the job done. They're getting the job done. They're doing what was need to be done, and that was my question. You know, for what team can figure it out and get the job done? And right now, the Vipers are playing their style of basketball and having a lot of success.
Jalen Green with at least one play a game where he just shows insane athleticism, hanging and hitting on that last layup. Grabbing the rebound here.
And this is where they want to be. One shot, you get into transition. You know, for Jalen, I'd like to see him, you know, be a dictator a little more. I want to see a little bit of this. This is what I want to see. I know he hasn't been hitting shots, and he was until that shot, he was 5 for 14, now 6 for 15. But I'd like to see him now take over a little bit, get downhill. I mean, he has, like I said, look at that. That's just being athletic. You know, I'm more athletic than you. I'm quicker than you. He has a great first step. He's able to get to the basket. So as he gets more comfortable, and, you know, I don't know how his fate lies in this league, he continue to get stronger, because when he gets to the next level, like you're dealing with even stronger guys, and just keep working on your game, because he's shown. I mean, he's 19 years old, one of the best players on this team, 17 points a game. So he just needs to continue to work at his game, because he's showing he has potential.
He remind you of anybody? I don't like that question, but I'll ask it anyway.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll have the answer.
I was trying to think of who.
When we come back.
Yeah. Good, I get some time. Right on time.
Yeah. Think on it for a little bit. Thank you, Wissaro. And they'll be on the ESPN app tonight watching Oklahoma City and Erie at 7 o'clock on ESPN+. A win for the Blue, and the Vipers are playoff bound.
They've given themselves every chance to be in the playoffs, like we talked about. I'd like to see them sit the young fella now. He did what you asked. He got his team a win. Now you just want to get him iced up and ready for tomorrow.
They have a matchup with Santa Cruz, G League Ignite, with a day off tomorrow, and then one of the final games of the season on Saturday night. They'll be in action against Austin. Ignite with a win today and a Westchester loss could have clinched. At the end of today, we'll see where their playoff scenarios lie, but still alive even after this assumed defeat. Before the break, I asked you about Jalen Green and a comparison, and I did so reluctantly, but I feel better now that you had a few minutes to marinate on it. So what do you think?
I thought you'd forget. Oh, man.
nobody jumps out. That's fair as well.
Yeah. It's tough. We're still trying to evaluate him. I know, like I said, right now, I mean, he definitely can shoot the ball. He's super athletic. He just needs to get stronger and just continue to get better and figure this league out. I mean, he's still, like I said, he's 18, 19 years old. A foul doesn't mean it was really a foul. If that makes sense. I hope so. And look, it was overturned, I think. So he didn't really foul, so he was right.
That was not one of those
David,
25 a season that you're talking about.
Right. Yeah. And David, remember this, when I started, they didn't have a challenge. Because
right.
I probably would have asked the coach. You would have seen me swirling for a challenge quite
Every
often.
play.
Especially guarding especially trying to guard like the Kobe Bryants of the world and Michael Jordans and LeBrons, And it's kind of bragging a little bit. Yes, I played against Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James.
It's on
so
the
I got
record.
to play
It's
against
okay.
three of the best to do it.
Brag away.
Yeah, I mean, it was an honor to do so. So for sure, I'd have been, especially MJ and Kobe. And I say, I don't mention LeBron in this one because obviously we have the review, but MJ, there was no review. So when they called a foul, it's what it was.
It's a rule that started in the G League and got adopted by the NBA. And, I'm thinking about the guys you played against. You played against Brian Shaw. You played against KJ's Pop, Kenyon Martin, former number 1 overall pick.
Rod Strickland, who we saw in the building, who was my former teammate. I saw him there. There's a lot of guys. I mean, I've been around a long time.
Final 38 seconds of this 1 for 2, because in the final 2 minutes of regulation and into overtime, we revert back to the standard NBA free throw rule. Brown gets blocked. Porter Jr. still out there to Osius.
And David, let me add to that list. I mean, you from the Kenyon Martins, Rod Stricklands to the Armani Brooks. I mean, I played. Over the span of 4 decades, I played with a lot of guys, young and old. So I'm very thankful to be able to say that.
Yeah, the only player in NBA history to have his career span 4 decades. It's a cool little nugget. I think just third behind Robert Parrish and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in games played. You got a second-half playoff push?
Man, I wasn't catching those guys. Not at this point. You know where my focus is. We talked about this off air. My focus is 18 holes, buddy.
You got your handicap to think about instead of a second-half run.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
RGV calling for time. 20-point game. What's on your end?
It's been great, David. You've been great. You've made this easy for me. I was a little worried that I would get lost in the sauce, and you've made this very enjoyable. Hopefully I get to come back for more. It's great to watch talent. I love the game of basketball. I still love talking about it, watching it, and this is another opportunity to not only watch it, talk about it, but explain it to people and watch young guys grow. So and seeing like former teammates, and for me to be 44 years old and to say former teammates like an Armani Brooks, who I played with briefly, but nevertheless, it's been a pleasure to not only call games but play this game for so long.
Once you saw that first dunk, it allowed you to just ease into things.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm out here watching some athletes. I mean, to see the young athletes and to see what they think about and how they go about it. So they take what we've done, just like I did, with Dr. J and MJ and Harold Miner and Terrence Stansberry, I'm showing my age there, and Larry Nance, and what these guys were doing, and just kind of put our twist on it. Now these young guys like the Porter Juniors and Jalen Greens, who are super athletic, are taking what we've done to the next level. Like what I see some of these kids doing in high school, man, I'm like, wait, this is high school kid doing this stuff. So it's amazing.
Final minute of play.
And
Sean
yet another three.
Osias. That's number 21.
Shoot, I'm looking at the other number. 49. 49 attempts, 21 for 49, 42, 43%. I mean, that's who they are, and they stuck to it. And, you know, when you're making 43% of your threes, you know, I mean, you'll win a lot of games.
Isaiah Todd is slamming down some frustration. RGV moments away from its 5th straight victory. They were 3-6, and now they're 8-6, peaking at the right time.
I mean, that's like you said, that's the right time, and you want to hit your stride and play your best basketball near the end of the season, leading into potentially the playoffs, and they are doing it.
130-107, the final score. Ignite takes down Rio Grande Valley. They are now 8-6.